Hey, hey Facebook. I hope you guys can hear me okay because it is 4:30 a.m. here and my sister's still sleeping. I don't want her to kick my buttocks because I wake her up. Probably already woke her up making my shake, but oh well. So, man, I have so much to share with you guys because I've just had some really honest awareness happen for me. Um, and I really encourage you to watch this video no matter what side you stand on of the water issues. I see I've got a couple viewers. Can you let me know that you can hear me okay? That would really be helpful because I have to talk really low right now because I don't want to wake up my sissy. No, this isn't too early for me. I get up early every morning. I'm an early riser, and I've been up since 2:30. I went to sleep pretty early last night. I was heartbroken. I was devastated and just emotionally spent, and I wanted to get back on schedule. I've been out of work for the past 2 weeks because of the storms, and it just honestly hasn't been safe for me to travel back and forth to the Bay Area for work with, we're having landslides and sinkholes and all kinds of stuff, trees going down. And so I've been out of work and I'm excited to get back. So because I commute to San Francisco, I usually get up around 3. So this is not early for me. I've got my food packed up. I'm ready to go get out there and do my Uber thing. But I wanted to share some stuff really quickly with you guys. One, I was heartbroken yesterday when I saw that our president, Donald Trump, gave the okay to move forward with the pipeline and said, negotiations to be determined by us, meaning the government of the United States. And my heart broke because I don't understand what negotiations there are to be had. The Native Americans do not want to negotiate. It's their land. They've said no, and they don't want to negotiate. So saying negotiations to be determined by us, we know what that means, okay? So I was heartbroken, and then I saw a lot of protesters started protesting in New York City and in Washington, and I got a little bit inspired and excited. And when I was watching those protests live, I saw a lot of people commenting about, do you drive cars? Do you use plastic? Do you, like, discounting these protesters taking action because they partake in the use of oil? And I started thinking about that concept, and I remembered for years. First, let me go back. When I was 20, I left Santa Cruz, and Santa Cruz is a very unique community that's really ahead of the game in caring about recycling and caring about the environment. Our water is not fluoridated. We recycle here. Our kids don't flush the toilet when they pee. Like, it's known to protect water. People put rocks in their toilets to save the amount of water they use in their toilets. We compost. Just on and on. There's so much emphasis on repurposing and donating, and we have a lot of sites that we go to. So we're really ahead of the game in Santa Cruz, and always has been. Santa Cruz has always cared. I left Santa Cruz when I was 20, when I left my first husband, and I moved to Sacramento, totally different world, and I raised my kids out there. And, I went to college majoring in psychology for a couple years, had to drop out, go back to work. I've worked my whole life. I've also had to be on public assistance during part of that time, and I ended up on disability. Because I became, I was 430 pounds in a wheelchair, very ill, a lot of health conditions. And I remember over the years, my sister used to try to help me to eat healthy, to care about the things I put in my body, to eat organic, to care about the planet more. And I used to make fun of her. I used to call her bread cardboard. Like, my mindset was that I have to feed my family. I can't afford to care about the environment or organic eating or any of that. And I paid the price physically for that, right? And so did my children. So did my children. I remember my oldest son was diagnosed with gout at 26, 27 years old. Like, that's insane, right? But that's a lack of fresh vegetables and leafy greens and so on. I also thought about the fact that I have family that works in the oil industry, and because we love each other so much, even though, I have family that voted for Trump, but we're able to have really good conversations where I'm able to get a new perspective on their point of view, and we don't fight and fall out over it. We can agree to disagree. We've also grown a little bit in our own opinions from listening to each other. And so being able to care about my family, you know, I have family that's born and raised in Texas. I was born in Louisiana, my sister in Texas, and so I have a lot of family from that part of the country, and being able to hear their stories and like understanding their struggles, and it made me think about so many people in that industry who that's their way of life, right? Like that's their way of supporting their families, and the idea of changing that just seems crazy. And I thought, like, what's really happening here is we're just missing education, okay? And we're not getting told the truth on a lot of things. So, first thing I thought is, I really think anybody who has a strong opinion on this, either way, should read the book The Last Hours of Ancient Sunlight by Tom Hartman. It's an amazing, amazing book that will educate you on what's really going on with our oil supply and global warming and the current affairs. Because here's the thing, the main thought that I woke up with this morning is that I know you care about your children. Like I know, no matter what side you're on, like I know you care about your grandchildren. Like I know you care about future generations. Like there wouldn't even be people who are fighting against the protesters or insulting them if they didn't care about their family, because they're just trying to support and protect their family, and they're clinging to the idea that, you know, going forward with this pipeline is going to create jobs. Okay, first of all, can you imagine, just contemplate for a moment, how many jobs will be created when we switch over to natural energy, renewable energy, solar, wind? Like, how much work is going to have to be done to create this? There will be far many more jobs created with the future of energy than there is going to be created with the tapping into the last bit of oil, because it is running out. Like we've got to get educated on that, okay? Insulting the protesters or people who are standing up and saying we need to change is just ignorance. I'm going to be honest, but it's my own ignorance, right? Like I insulted my own sister, so I'm not judging you. Ignorance is just a lack of wisdom. I'm saying that to tell somebody that they have no right to say that, you know, this needs to change because they drive a car is ignorant. It's ignorant, and it's that sheeple mob mentality, what we've been conditioned to believe, because the first step to change is admitting we have a problem. Like that's the very first step. We have to admit that we're willing to change. I know here in our community, we do a lot of things, and I mentioned them all earlier, to try to do more of our part, right? But there's more. Transportation has to change. Several things have to change. But our lifestyle, yes, has to change. But we could still have an amazing lifestyle and protect the planet at the same time and respect the Native American Indians at the same time, right? And I think that we need to move beyond like Trump supporters and non-Trump supporters in this issue and get real with ourselves. Like if you voted for Trump, but deep down inside you feel that going forward with that pipeline is wrong, like stand up and say that's not right. Like he's our commander in chief now. We have to hold him responsible, no matter whether you voted for him or didn't vote for him. And if you're on the side who's standing up for the water protectors, start educating people. Stop insulting them back. Like you've already begun to awaken to the truth that we need to change and take an action to do so. Stop making the people who haven't awoken yet your enemy and insulting them back. Stop being so thin-skinned and getting upset because people say arrogant, ignorant born comments about you. Just focus on what matters, right? Like focus on the truth that change is needed. I used to be asleep where you are. I've woken up and I realized that we need to change, and I'm willing to do my part. I'm willing to change. Are you? Because I know you care. I know you care about your children. I know you care about the future of this planet for future generations to come, and we have to work together now. I understand you're upset and you're worried and you're scared. I was too. You see, we bear a responsibility in this as well. Okay? Anybody who has a water protector heart has a responsibility to handle themselves, not only peacefully, right? And let's get really clear. Screaming and yelling, this is not okay, that's still peaceful. Okay, we're unpeaceful protesters. What do you want? You want people to sit in silence? That's the only thing you'll accept? Like, on the side that's against protest, stop being so insultive. Stop being so conditioned in your thinking and just insulting people who are trying to change, trying to do something to protect our planet for all our children. You see, on both sides of this, we have to wake up and do our part, right? We have to build bridges with each other. Those who get involved in creating businesses that lead the way in new energy are going to be extremely wealthy. Extremely wealthy. Those who have the means and take the initiative to be the first to really get started in that, like, yay for you, because you're going to be extremely wealthy. Those who hold on till the very last minute, they may even make it till the day they die, depending on how old they are. But what about your children? Like, what are you leaving for them by continuing to hold on to a dying industry? Right? Yeah, some jobs might be created by going back to the old way where we would just make a bunch of stuff and kill our planet, but our future generations won't have a planet. Like, we all love our children and our grandchildren, and we want them to have a life here. Like, for them, we have to protect the planet. And in regards to the Native American people, they carry great ancient wisdom. They've been robbed of their lands, they've been murdered, they've been silenced, and today there is no way we can let that take place and feel good about ourselves. You know, caring about something more than ourselves, being a part of something bigger than ourselves, not putting our own struggles first. There's something so amazingly powerful in that. And I think about how I'm going to feel at the end of this life when I review my life, and where did I stand on the important issues? Where did I stand in regards to standing up for others and caring about the planet? And, like, where am I going to stand on all that? Or did I only care about myself and insult anybody who felt differently than me? Because their protest insulted my way of living that I wasn't willing to admit needed change. Like, these are good, powerful questions to ask ourselves. And I really suggest that moving forward, that we take responsibility for where we come from on both sides of this, right? So that we can start educating. We have to change. The first step is admitting that. The next step is getting involved and saying we want that, so that companies who have the means to convert over to free energy are encouraged to do so, right? Because that is the future. And so the government understands that we no longer are willing to just sit by and be complacent, mindless consumers while we're fed a couple jobs that, by the way, only help people barely survive, right? So people can go back to sleep while those in government are making millions, billions of dollars off of these projects. This is not about creating jobs for the American people. It's about sucking the last bit of money out of oil that can be sucked out of oil at the expense of our planet and the Native American people. So let's get real. Let's get honest about that. Let's educate, and let's work towards supporting people who are standing up, right? And let's be honest about how we feel about what's going on. If we deep down inside know that we need to change, speak on it. Speak on it. It's our duty to speak on it. It's our duty to speak up. And I know a lot of people are saying they're getting sick and tired of seeing this stuff on their news feed. Dude, this is what's happening right now in the world. Like, this is a time of great change, right? Like I told my sister yesterday, boy, wouldn't it be nice to go back to when all we cared about was, like, going out on the weekends and all those things. Like, I get it. I understand why people want to go back to when life seemed simpler. But guess what? We're beyond that now, right? Like, this is what's taking place in our world, and we have a duty to speak up, to act, to do all this stuff, but we need to do so with an educated mind and a heart full of love so that we can help people wake up, not further the divide. I'm going to go to work. I love you guys. Have an amazing day.